Hello, this is obviously Rebecca, and I am with
Jessica Greer.
Jessica. And a pregnant Jessica.
Yes.
You're the first pregnant woman we have on our podcast.
Milestone.
Wow. And it's your first.
Yes,
Cool.
it is. Yep.
Cool. So one of the things that we like to do is podcast in order to help students and parents understand that there's different paths.
Yes.
So we definitely want to talk about what you do because you really do something cool and people really like it. And we want to know where to find you.
Yep.
So first, let's just talk about what was your educational path?
So my educational path, when I was a junior and senior in high school, I actually thought I was going to go for pharmacy. So that's where I was looking, and I was going to stay in state. Looking at the Prepharmacy programs.
Okay.
I didn't know if I wanted to be at ISU the whole time, but then I found out that I could do my prereqs at Boise State, and I always loved Boise.
Okay.
So started with that, and my parents groomed me for college. Like they didn't have the college education, and they knew how important it was. So it was always, get good grades, do well in school, but to be a well-rounded student was very, very important. I was never into the team sports, so what I ended up doing in high school was I rode and competed on horses. So that was
an equestrian.
Yeah, that was my extracurricular activity. And then
So what did you ride? What were you riding? Or Western or
No,
English,
I did English.
Okay.
And I did 3-day eventing.
Oh, my daughter liked that too.
Really?
It's very interesting. I mean, you kind of show up and all of a sudden it's like a group of people riding a horse go by quickly, but it's like almost an obstacle course, and you have to get through it a certain.
Probably the most expensive competing.
And grueling.
Yeah.
People get hurt, but it's very interesting. I can imagine you really liked it.
It teaches you a lot too.
Yeah.
So I had to do all that. I rode my horse every day after high school, still maintained good grades, got my homework done, all that good stuff. And then my mom told me, we were a middle-class family, so you were going to apply for every single little scholarship you could get.
Absolutely.
And I did, and my first year I was overfunded. I did take a little bit of loan just for security because I was trying to find a part-time job during my first year. Mm-hmm. So
the nice part is about Boise State, even though they don't give a lot of money, just automatically, is that they let you have outside scholarships.
Yes.
And they don't take away whatever they promised you. So you probably get the maximum scholarship that they can give.
Yep.
And then you have all these outside scholarships, which is cool. So what happens is you get cut a check, the extra stuff left over.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's a great
refund.
way to do it. And it's a great way to do it to take out one small student loan. It's really good for establishing your credit. And also to create a situation where you don't feel so pressured, just in case. Yep. So perfect. Oh, see, now you have given us all kinds of information exactly the way I like, and the fact that your parents were looking at stuff and trying to figure out how to get you the most
They
fun.
knew how important college was going to be for me because they didn't get to go to college.
Yeah. And what you were looking at required degrees.
Yeah, and they were hoping and praying that I stayed in state for the tuition savings.
Yeah. Well, and it depends. So, there was a lot that you went to school how many years ago?
Eons.
It's less than 10. About 8.
I graduated in 2004 from high school.
There you go.
And I started college that fall.
Okay. So,
but I did have a break.
Some things have changed just because the state of Idaho is doing a lot of good stuff with being able to take dual enrollment and things like that. And they actually are paying for it. So when you went to school, you had to pay for yours yourself, which also was, I believe you told me previously that you took advantage of dual enrollment or AP.
I think I wound up with maybe one AP credit with an AP history class.
Okay.
One
is better than none.
I scored high enough on SATs to jump one of the English classes, which was nice.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That every little bit helps.
So you get to Boise, pre-pharmacy, and did you continue with pre-pharmacy?
No, I did not.
So how come?
So I think it had to be the following January. ISU was holding a pre-pharmacy meeting for all of the students who were thinking about doing that.
Okay.
And I learned how insanely competitive the ISU Pharmacy College is.
As most are, yeah.
It's the cheapest, at the time, it was the cheapest one in the nation, and they only had a total of 65 seats or 55 seats. Yeah. 45 went to in-state, and then they saved 10 for out-of-state. So whoever was presenting it literally told me, or told the whole group, to stand a chance to get in, you had to have a previous degree, a 4.0 in that previous degree, and pharmacy technician experience.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, well, I have to be in school and be the most excellent student I can be for at least 5 years because I was working and going to school. So I have to do that. And then...
And do you love this that much?
All to end up in a hospital or a retail environment for the rest of my life. The pharmacists are phenomenal people. I still find the career fascinating.
Yeah.
But that was not worth it to me. Not worth, especially going for like a chemistry degree or something like that, and then still having to go through the gambit.
Right.
Will I even get into pharmacy school at that point?
Which means that you may or may not be in the area. You have to go to a different state to go. And
life changes so fast.
Right.
You just don't know.
So you pivoted. That's the new word. She pivoted. So what did you decide to go into then?
So I honestly found it interesting that when I was touring colleges as a junior, I heard that statistic that at the time, 67% of college students changed their major at least once. Yeah. And I was like, really? And then here I was, 8-9 months later, seriously considering about changing my major. So I actually ended up taking a whole year effectively of school off to work full time and save money and whatnot, because I was a little rattled. I was like, oh, crud, my plan is, I'm one of those people, I've had to be like, stay organized, stay on plan, but I was like, ooh, crud, maybe this is not going to work out. So I worked full time as a receptionist, saved up some more money, went back to school, and I've always loved business. Always loved business. I was always that little girl with the fanny pack at the yard sale, like selling my toys, and I was making snow cones on the side or coffee in the morning for a quarter. I was always like handling money. I loved it. I loved like the little running my own little business sort of thing. I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I was like, well, maybe I'll try an accounting class. I'll just give it a shot. Like my mom was in business. She said business was always a very solid thing to go into.
Only if you like it.
Only if you like it.
Only if you like it. Okay, so you took the class.
Yeah,
and
I took that first accounting class, and I loved it. And of course, okay, well, it's an intro to accounting class. It's easy. Let's keep going. So the next class after that was cost accounting, totally different animal. I still loved it. I'm one of those crazy people that apparently just loves accounting. And I just kept going.
That is a great indication if you took those classes that you're a numbers cruncher.
Yeah, I just loved it. And it's also, for me, it's a very practical use of math. You always go through calculus, like, when am I ever going to use this? But at least, like with accounting, you've got your practical math. It makes sense. You know why you use it. And things like that. And plus, you can work in any industry you want as an accountant. I had a school counselor tell me one time, an accountant can do HR management, but an HR manager cannot do accounting.
Right.
It's a very versatile degree. You can really go anywhere, do almost anything in any industry with it. And it's recession-proof. Everybody always needs an accountant.
That is true. So you pursued that.
Yep.
Did you graduate?
Yes, pursued that. It took me about 5.5 years with working part-time and going to school.
Okay.
I did a lot of night classes and tried to do morning classes as much as I can. And I would work in the afternoon. So did that. It took me longer than normal, but it's there is no normal. I think it just...
That's a great way to put it.
There's no such thing as a 4-year degree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is.
There
and we
is.
want to be strategic, but if you have to work and you understand the amount of time you have to work and what you have to earn to support your degree, then for you, that was good. That was good planning.
Yep. So graduated with my bachelor's in accountancy in December of 2010. And my ultimate goal was the CPA license. And with the credits of the bachelor's degree, I wasn't quite there. But I didn't want to stay in the undergraduate program and just do the fluff classes to build up the credits.
Yeah.
To me, knowledge is power. Like, knowledge is one of the best currencies out there. So I was like, I want my master's degree. And you are allowed to take up to 2 graduate level accountancy courses without being enrolled in the program.
Good.
So I rolled right around, and in January, that's what I did. And I took internship for credit. So I interned at a local tax accounting firm. And then I also took 1 night class. And I think it was some sort of personal income tax accounting class. So it kind of went coincide with itself, which was great. And then while doing that, I got into the program. And we had to take the GMAT to get for part of the admissions.
Yeah.
I am one of those people that did not pass the GMAT.
That doesn't surprise me. It's that there are sections that people pass, and I usually encourage people, whether they're going to go on to school or not, because I did it just because I had a very well-respected professor. I just liked her a lot.
Yeah.
And she said, at the end of my junior year, you should take the GRE. Just in case you ever go to school. And I thought, I am never going to go beyond my bachelor's.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up doing it. But it was perfect because I was right in the midst of it all. So I did quite well on the GRE, which was shocking. But it's probably a section that you didn't.
I was 10 points off of that cutoff score.
Oh, yeah.
It was right there.
And see, now Boise State, if you have an undergraduate from them, you don't have to.
Oh, really?
No.
I'm glad they changed that rule.
Yeah, that's a shame that they made you go through it. But so you had to retake it.
No.
You did not.
No. I talked to my counselor who brought my case to the board of approval.
Excellent.
And because she was like, pretty much like, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah, it's a standardized test. It has nothing to do with how...
I am one of those people, I can't do standardized testing. I just can't. Like, give me a whopper of a problem or something all day long, I'll do it. But the standardized testing, I'm one of those, I just can't do it. I was 10 points away. So she took my case, threw my case up the chain. And of course, the professors came right back, which I'd had classes with most of them.
Said
and they're
she's
like,
capable.
you know,
does it really measure whether you can learn?
Because I graduated with my bachelor's with honors. Yeah. And they're like, you know, if she was a C student, we would be
and
like,
what's that saying about your program? If you are above average with honors in their program, of course you're able to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And they said, we would love to have you in the program. So that's how
you go through the program, you graduate.
Yes.
And you work in the field for a bit.
Well, yes, I ended up getting my CPA license. I actually jumped into the public tax accounting realm. I accepted a position at Ide Bailey, one of the top firms in Idaho, which was fabulous. So I was working with them full time and still finishing my master's degree.
Oh, that's great.
I would not take any classes during the spring, but I would take summer and fall classes due to tax season. And I ended up taking off effectively a year with the no tax season classes and summer classes. And I passed my CPA exams in 2 months. I took all of them in 2 months.
And that's a standardized test, but you passed that.
Don't ask me
and
how I
did it. And it is tough
because
there are sections. And
don't ask me how I did it.
I like the way it's set up, though, because you can you take that one, and then you can dive into the next, take the next. So they don't make it all one big test. I do like that.
It still is probably the hardest thing that I've
very hard.
ever had to do.
Yeah.
I've never studied for something so hard in my life. Did that, got my CPA license, and then I had one more master's class to finish. So I ended up with my master's degree in December of 2014.
Excellent.
Yeah. So with working full-time and taking classes effectively part-time, it took me a couple more years to get that.
but you're in the field practicing. So now, because we want to have people understand, so you did great, you liked your job, you worked for a great firm.
Yep.
End of story. Pivot. We're going to the news story because
Plot
it's
twist.
pretty cool. So I met Jessica at a networking event, eWomen networking event, which was fun. And she has one of the coolest salons, well, boutiques. So I went out to visit, very excited about it. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. So tell where it is. How did you get into it? The short version of how you get into it, and what's going on there now. I mean, you're having Mother's Day sales, and where is it located?
Well, our first anniversary bash is this coming Saturday, so that's what I'm ramping for.
Okay, because I went in with a friend the other night to just show her. So, and she, it's just gorgeous. So I would encourage people to, if you have a mom, you want to go in her closet and the outfit she wears the most, go check out the tag and what size. Make sure you kind of know where she lands, especially you boys or you men with your little short moms that are tiny. But go in, and Jessica, even if you have a photo of your mom, if you show it to Jessica, she will give you some really great ideas for a dynamite outfit or jewelry. There was all kinds of stuff. But so go ahead. What's the name of your store and where is it located? And what's the best way to look at your features that you're doing and stuff?
Okay. So Elle M, and that's like the fashion magazine Elle, and then the letter M is in Mary. We are at the Village in Meridian, and we are right next to Soma, across from Pro Image Sports, right there in the main outdoor mall area. And it is my mother-in-law's boutique, and she had that boutique in Sun Valley for over 30 years under a different name called Les Filles, which she is French, and that means the girls in French. But she wanted, when we moved the boutique over here, she's like, this will eventually be yours. I want to do some rebranding. Let's change it up, do something different. So we came up with the name.
I think it's so great
LM.
That you work with your mother-in-law. And
I
that
know.
you two love you like that same work and you come to the table. So all your accounting and just understanding how business works and your experience in the field, even though you worked for a larger firm, it's still all those pieces.
Oh, yes.
Really helped you.
And after public accounting, because I only stayed in public accounting, your traditional, I was one of those typical people, 2 to 3 years is about the lifespan of a public accountant, which is understandable considering the lifestyle that they have to live.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade the experience for the world. I'm still very great friends with those people, and it was allowed me to jump into the private sector in a very nice position, and I worked there for 2 years before I decided I would rather work for myself or my family than work for somebody else.
And it's nice because I was in there for a while, so I got to see Jessica in action. And actually, a boutique is very different than just a franchised store. So what's the difference in a boutique?
Your boutiques are typically, you're going to get that world-class customer service. When you walk into a big box, I don't think they do the training like they used to, because I know that some of the big box stores would be a little more involved in trying to show you things, but most of the time you walk into a big box and they'll greet you, but that's about it. In a boutique, we're like, hi, how are you doing? I always let them know, because we are in that big mall, that we are a little family-owned and operated business.
Yes.
And it gives them an idea of how we're going to operate. And then when you get a lady that's like, okay, well, I kind of like this, or I need this for an event, and we will literally take you by the hand and we will walk you around the entire store and show you what's good or what would work for your event and how you would dress this up or you dress this down and how this is going to look on you.
And the nice part is about a boutique, which many people don't know, the last thing you want to do is spend money and go to an event and 3 people have the outfit on.
Yes.
So it is very, it's just, I don't know if where I come from, there are boutiques, so that is such a plus to be able to do that. So I noticed that you stay right in line with that. There's very few people who, there's only a couple So that's good. So you can pretty much be guaranteed that whatever you're wearing, you're not going to see on your neighbor, nor you're sitting at a table.
We usually get four pieces of a style because we are a small business, and that's what we can afford to handle on the floor at a time. And sometimes we go through it real quick, and sometimes it'll hang out. But most of the time, I mean, we're doing well with determining what our new market is enjoying and looking for and things like that. But yeah, you're not going to see your outfit walking down the street at you.
Yeah. So you're getting trained from your mother-in-law, who's had tons of experience in
she's
buying
been in the
and selecting.
For a very long time, and that's the great thing about her is she knows the industry, but I have that very strong business background. I've seen a lot of different businesses with my public accounting work and how they would handle things on the back end administrative side, and she's the saleswoman. Like, I didn't know how to sell until I worked with her and just watched her and absorbed that. And that's, again, one of those things, like I say, knowledge is power. Just always be absorbing everything that you can learn anything you want to learn.
Yeah. So are you doing anything? Okay, so Saturday is the time you're having this.
First anniversary bash, we will be in the new location now for an entire year.
That's
and it's
so great.
Been fabulous.
Okay, so when does the bash start?
We open at 10. We're 10 to 8 on Saturday, but I've got the bash slated from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
And I'm going to have sales, treats, bubbly, all that good stuff.
Good.
My first 10 customers who spend $100 or more are going to get a special goodie bag filled with some fun treats and things like that.
Excellent.
And I mean, new inventory on the floor almost every day.
So where are you posting I know that I saw you put our stuff when I came in to visit. Can you find you on Instagram?
Yep,
Where?
Instagram, we are at LMELLE, the letter M as in Mary, .Meridian.
Okay.
And that's Instagram and Facebook are tagged with both of that.
Excellent. So that's probably the fastest, easiest way.
The website is lmmeridian.com.
Okay.
Should be hopefully live before the weekend, I'm really hoping. And that'll be great to have that up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And I did do an advertisement in Meridian Magazine.
Okay.
They've got an ad. I think we're on like the second page when you open that up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a beautiful photo of a gal in a hot pink top with checkered pants. That's one of our high-end lines out of Canada. And I will have more of that outfit on the floor.
Oh,
I've had to reorder.
Yeah.
It's a great outfit. And I do my email marketing for my customers who have been in the store and want to provide their email. I sent them out an email.
Good.
And and then word of mouth, I've got ladies who are word of mouth, and then everybody who comes in the shop, I've got a little flyer on the desk, because you can't beat that old school flyer, just handing somebody something to take with them.
So true. So if someone ran into you or said, how do you get into this business? So what would you recommend? Because you actually don't have to have a degree to own a business.
No.
And I always say undergraduate business degrees are a dime a dozen. And unless you have some really great skills or that you've had some opportunity to work for a business, you oftentimes, like you said, without your mother-in-law's training, okay, you could have bought that business.
Yeah.
But when I saw you
know
operate,
how to work it?
I just, you may know the numbers crunching,
Yep.
but if you can't sell.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest that someone do if they were interested? What educational path should they consider if they want to look into owning a business that is a retail business? Is that a franchise?
No.
So
it's
it's
her store.
So it is a boutique that you named that. So that's the new branding.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone wanted to start a small business or a smaller boutique, what would be your suggestion?
As far as educational background, I definitely agree. You can't go wrong with the business degrees. I know they're a dime a dozen, but maybe differentiate yourself a little bit. Go for the bachelor's in accounting, or go for the bachelor's in economics. Something like that, not just your generic business, because I don't feel like you have enough specialty that way. And you can't beat the real world experience with jumping in. I mean, you don't have to stay there forever.
Right.
But because you just have your fundamentals. That's all your undergrad degree is. You're
true.
certified in fundamentals. Go learn from these affluent business people that are in our community right now. Whether you do internships or something, go learn and see how a business runs, especially if you can get in with a bigger business. And just soak up that knowledge.
And I think it's good to actually go and, work for Buckle, work for Target.
That's what I was going to say as well.
Do these,
if you
see what it's like and see how different stores are run. I know we had a TJ Maxx that was near, there were actually 2 locations, one on the other side in a little town and the other was a bigger town. Whomever the buyer was for the one located in Keene, New Hampshire, it was so awesome.
Yeah.
So I would, and the thing is about retail, and it is a pain. I remember I took a retail job, just waiting, getting my business going. I thought, I'll work 10 to 15 hours a week. You were constantly on call. You would be called in. You'd sometimes have to leave, and that's a pain in the neck. But I would complete, if you have a summer job, complete it.
Yep.
Don't quit halfway through.
Don't quit.
Learn
Never
the
give
difficult
up.
stuff. And know that if you're going to be working during the holiday season, you really have to not, cancel work.
Yeah.
You have to
be
show
dependable.
up because that's very valuable for someone in your position.
Extremely, yeah.
And I would not give a good reference to someone who constantly created a situation where the other employees, and that's what used to happen at the place that I was at. The manager would say, I'm so glad you're willing to come in, because people were on call or they were supposed to come in and they didn't, and they didn't notify. And so it's important.
Yep. I would definitely say that, if you are looking at owning a retail business or getting into a retail business, go work in retail. And do some different retail. Like try and match up what you're looking at creating down the road.
Yeah.
And whether it's clothing retail or,
Makeup
equipment retail,
yeah.
makeup retail, they're all different animals. They all
they
have
really
a
are.
similar underlying characteristic, but they are different. And
Yeah, so
wild.
that's neat. Okay, so again, tell us where we can find you, and we will put it in the script for our podcast, and we'll put it in the script for when we put this up on YouTube. So one more shout out for where to find you.
Elle M is located in the Village at Meridian, and you can reach us on Instagram and Facebook with @lm.meridian. Phone number 208-813-6224, or you can just pop in anytime. We've got Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays 11 to 5.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Bye now.